Yeah, hope you're well. Happy Thursday to you. Today I want to talk about happiness, a topic that I'm deeply in love with. I want to talk about where happiness stems from and what we may be doing in life at the moment that is causing our unhappiness or our discontent with the lives that we're living. Now, I'm not here to preach today. I just want to share a thought because I think it's an important one. So I am Lee. I'm the founder of the Hidden Why podcast, a podcast that's been running for about a decade now. I've interviewed hundreds of people on that podcast over an array of topics, really around self-development and this topic of happiness as well. So let's talk about happiness, all right? It's important. Yeah, we all want to be happy. I think that's the fundamental goal that we're all striving for. We're striving for this level of happiness. And I talk about that in my book, The Ultimate Life Map. But do we always get it right? I certainly don't. And that's why I'm sharing this stuff, because I don't get it right and I'm in search for this level of happiness. So I keep seeking, I keep learning, I keep researching, I keep interviewing guests so I can get better at living a life of a deeper content, of deeper happiness and joy. And that's what I want to share this for. So if you look at the bigger picture now, and I'll just give you a moment to reflect back in your life and look for those moments where you had the most happiness, the fondest memories where you feel like I was really happy then. And I can guarantee that it's nothing to do with the possessions of your life or the pleasures at the moment that you might have experienced at that particular time. You know, no one's going to remember me for the nice car I owned. No one's going to remember me for the nice watch I bought. I'm not going to remember those moments. You know, I'm not going to reflect back of them moments and go, oh, geez, I was really happy that day I got that watch. Those aren't the things that drive our happiness. And this is the important difference here. And the importance of understanding this is that the extrinsic things in our lives, when guided by those, they don't actually bring us happiness. They usually do the opposite. When we're driven internally from our intrinsic motivations and values, that's when we find a greater level of happiness. And I've categorized this into 6 categories, and I'll talk about a few of them today. But I think if you reflect back on your life, when you had moments of good health, mentally, emotionally, physically, good health, those are the moments you're going to remember because you are in good health. And good health is what makes us happy because it's an intrinsic thing, right? Growth, periods of growth, when you went through and studied something new and interesting that you were passionate about and you accomplished it, you're going to have that memory of happiness then because you were growing, you were learning, you were doing something new. Perhaps it might have been an adventure, a new experience. Those moments we cherish and remember. And love. Love is another category there. Relationships. When you have moments with people that you love, people that you cherish, people that you've maybe helped, contribution is another category. Those things in life, that's what we really cherish. And the reason why is because usually they're driven from an intrinsic value, an intrinsic source that pushes us towards those things. In today's society, I see it more and more, and I think this is really causing a lot of people of great discontent and unhappiness. Social platforms, you know, they're driven to take our attention away and put us back in there. If you're sitting there scrolling through social media, and again, I'm not preaching here, I do it as well. You know, I have the desire to buy nice things. Those things are all okay, but when they become all-consuming, and they're the guiding force for our life because we think that those things that we own are going to bring us happiness. It's not the case. You know, what we own, what we possess can all be taken away from us. The only thing that we have control of, the only thing that we have possession of is what's within. And that's the thing that we need to work on the most. But instead, we're jumping on social media. We've got shopping apps at hand so we can scroll through and buy things daily. You know, people are hooked on these things and the companies know that. They're designed to have us hooked in there because they're dopamine fixes. And we think those dopamine fixes are happiness. And that's what dopamine really is to drive that level of excitement and happiness up. So when we do that, in the moment, it feels like it's something that's making us happy, but it's a pleasure-seeking activity and it's not going to bring you greater joy, deeper sense of joy in the longer term, and you're not going to remember it in the longer term of life as well. So I think what we really need to do and what I need to do and constantly remind myself is to reflect within and go, okay, what are those important things in my life that I should be focusing on daily? What are the behaviors I should be doing daily and areas that I should be focusing on to drive my level of happiness higher. You know, what should I do today around health? What should I do today around growth? What should I do today with the relationships in my life? And just in those three categories alone, if I can align my work around those things, I reckon I'll find a greater sense of happiness at the end of the day. You know, we're driven to work because we think that by working hard, we're going to earn some money to buy this stuff that we probably don't need. And that's what we do. But if you can be driven by work, because I'm a little bit of a workaholic, you know, and that's a bit of a problem in itself. But if we're driven by work to then create income or freedom to allow us to do more of those things around health, growth, and relationships, then that's more important than working to buy stuff that we don't need. And if you really sat there today and thought about your life, thought about what is really important to me in 10 years' time, 20 years' time, how do I want to be? And if it pops up that you want this mansion on this canal and all that sort of stuff, that stuff's all very nice and maybe you'll go towards that. But is that what you really want? Is that what really life is about? And I think when you reflect on that, you'll start to realize that life is much simpler than that. And if you can feel comfortable without those things, if you can feel a detachment from those things, you'll be better off in the long term as well, because what causes a lot of people unhappiness is an attachment to those things that we do not own, rather than a focus on building what's within, that inner faculty. So that's my thought today about happiness. Hope you've enjoyed it. A little bit ramble maybe, but check it out, thehiddenwhy.com, the Hidden Why podcast. If you have any questions or want to PM me, please do. I'd love to hear from you.